Welcome back, everybody. You are here with Will and I, man, from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about. Well, we're going to kick things off with Bitcoin, but focus on Acala on this video.
I guess, Acala is the big one just because it's about damn time we kind of like revisit Polkadot ecosystem. You know what I mean? We've had so much like outside influence that kind of dragged us away from the developments and the happenings of Polkadot.
Yeah.
But at some point we have to like refocus because these parachains are like right around the corner. And
Yeah,
they,
so actually they don't even know when they're going to start. It's actually a DAO vote of when the Parachain offerings start
yeah,
happening.
that's kind of like what I was kind of hoping for. Like once we have more certainty, whenever they're actually like a call to action date, it would have made more sense to kind of re hop back on that Polkadot wagon.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, that if it's being left up to a DAO decision, like dude, who the fuck knows when that's gonna happen? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
But before we get to Acala, let's kind of go through what happened with Bitcoin. So Elon makes the announcement that they've been buying Bitcoin since January, and so this blue box here represents where we think they were buying, and then this candle over here is conveniently the announcement candle. And so what does this really mean? It means that this is the biggest candle in the history of Bitcoin. Almost a $10,000 increase in price in about a day. This has like so we want to tease what we're going to be talking about on our podcast. And so this has huge implications as to how the government is going to react when Google and Apple and Oracle and all these organizations like jump into Bitcoin.
Basically covering like everyone seems to be like in a euphoric state off of this news. I mean, for good reason, right? It basically like marks the beginning of like a whole new era of like our space, our industry. Like,
Yeah.
I would think this Tesla purchase is like
the catalyst.
we talked about it yesterday. It's the catalyst for mainstream attention. So there's a lot of upside to that, and I think there's going to be some serious like market, activity as a result of this.
Yeah.
Nobody's really thinking about what the downside risks of that entail. You know what I mean? Obvious, like it's not just institutional money and corporate America looking at this now. Now we have like, regulatory agencies starting to pay attention. Oh yeah, and here's like perfect segue, dude.
And so the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis just released an article just a few days ago on February 5th. And
yes, they definitely didn't release this like as a result of that Tesla announcement, right? Like they've done their research into DeFi, I guess, because I mean my contention is like once these things start to boom and they start to gain traction, like that governments, I mean, they pay attention, but it takes them a little bit longer than us to kind of like I guess understand these things. But regardless, the fact that DeFi is on government radar now, I mean, it's good and bad, right? It's good in the sense that it legitimizes the DeFi space in a way.
They're starting to look into it, so it legitimizes it just by the fact they're looking into it.
Yeah, it's crazy because like a year ago, DeFi was like this total like shot in the fucking dark, right? Like nobody expected this thing to take off this hard.
Yeah, but anyone in DeFi right now knows that this directly competes with the financial infrastructure, which is why these guys are looking at it. But but the one thing to note in the conclusion is essentially that they say DeFi may lead to a paradigm shift in the financial industry and potentially contribute toward a more robust, open, and transparent financial infrastructure. So, and they only identify the issues that you and I talk about all the time, right? Smart contracts have security issues, have scalability issues, and the term decentralized is overused because many times a lot of projects use external data sources like Amazon Web Services, or they can conduct smart contract upgrades because they have access to the ability to upgrade smart contracts because they have the private key, and it's not a DAO. And then, of course, they can do emergency shutdowns, which is also known as a rug pull. So
overall, like this is, I mean, have fun reading this. It's definitely long as TLDR, dude. Like this is a long one. You could spend all weekend reading up on this one, but it's pretty. I glanced over it. Like they cover pretty much all the major protocols that we know and love. You know what I mean? They incorporate and they explain like real briefly what they do, they are, and the potential for them. So this is pretty bullish. Like, bullish in the sense that now we have institutional recognition of what these decentralized protocols that we're all working on. Again, just like that Tesla announcement, dude. There's potential downside risk to this now, especially because if the federal government starts to read these things and then they hear statements like paradigm shifting to our financial infrastructure. So like, if you just sit there and think about what that means, like,
yeah, it's red alert. The sirens are going off.
Yeah, like hold on a second, like what? Like they're building what now? Like this isn't like some website where you could buy like as much underwear as you want.
Yeah. This
you know what I
is
mean?
bigger than the internet.
Yeah, this is bigger than like the .com boom that we've lived through the last 20-25 years. Like this has like foundational disruptive potential. What that means from the government's eyes, I think that's going to be like the biggest thing to pay attention to this next year. But yeah, we'll talk about that on the podcast. Like that's a hell of a topic, dude. Like we got to really go.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go deep on this one, just because we were having our own internal debates as to what the government is going to do. Because the biggest loser, if DeFi and cryptocurrencies take off, is the United States. I guess the speculation is, what can they do and what will they do?
Now's the time to kind of start like concocting these like shit hit the fan scenarios. Just since we're all like involved in this space, it makes sense to always hedge against yourself in a way. Like be prepared for worst case scenarios. I mean, that's just how I am naturally, dude. I'm a freaking prepper, dude. I'm always preparing for the worst. So the same thing, just like there's bad shit's gonna happen out there in the real world, bad shit might happen here too. So just basically, this next podcast is gonna be like a total like FUD fest, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be FUD-tastic. If you don't like to hear that, you want to be like a forever moon boy, don't tune in. But if you want to hear like some real talk, tune in.
On the bullish side of things, I mean, Ethereum has been steady growth. I mean, this isn't as parabolic as Bitcoin, but man, has it ever been dependable being in Ethereum right now?
Yeah.
It's just like steady growth, man. That's all it's doing.
I mean, I guess at some point this thing's probably going to go ballistic too, but maybe not. Maybe there's enough bears in the market because of the gas issues. Like I'm starting to see that sentiment like on Twitter and whatnot. People are literally shifting their opinions on Ethereum just because of all the, the issues we're seeing. But I mean, these issues, like, come on, man, we knew this was going to happen. Even like 3 or 4 years ago, like
for sure.
As soon as CryptoKitties broke the network, like we knew that there's some critical flaws in existing in it, So speaking of that, so we know DeFi is like a juggernaut in the making, if not already existing juggernaut in the Ethereum ecosystem, right? That's the next big obvious use case for smart contracts and whatnot. So, but we're recognizing there's tons of flaws in the Ethereum ecosystem currently, being worked on. There's some alternatives being built on, other networks. Polkadot, for example. So Acala is the big one, dude. So briefly explain what it is.
Here we have a decentralized finance hub and stablecoin platform powering cross-blockchain liquidity and applications. So Acala, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're hinging upon existing on a Polkadot, right? The Polkadot network, which means that they're depending on getting a Parachain slot, which auctions have not started, and no one knows when they will start because it depends on a DAO vote. But let's jump into their app here. So this is their app, and let's go to their primary account here.
So I think this is actually deployed, on the Rococo test network of Polkadot. So you can interact with this now. I mean, so I guess the order of things in the Polkadot network is everything starts on Rococo testnet, then there's going to be a Parachain offering on Kusama, which is basically, it's going to be this exact app that's going to be called Karura. It's on a basically forked clone of Polkadot. So It's going to be the same network architecture, but on Kusama with totally different value injection within that network. So that at least they could test all of the
functionality
and the economic incentives, whether or not they work out. You know what I mean? But regardless, this version of Acala is going to come out first, Karura. So we're going to have to cover whenever that crowd loan begins. Yeah. Because for one, there's a lot of important reasons for that. Like we're going to finally get to understand what these crowd loan Parachain auctions look like and how they work.
Yeah, and to participate, you have to have Kusama to get to unlock CAR, which is the Karura Paradrop. And so it has huge implications because as soon as you lock up your Kusama, it's locked up for potentially a year to up to 2 years. But in return, you get the project's token. In this case, it's Karura, right? KAR. And with that, you can do whatever you want with. So having said that, once you unlock the project's token, I think Polkadot will have their version of Uniswap called Polkaswap. And I think even Acala's network or marketplace, you can swap your tokens there as well. Even though you're locking up your Kusama tokens, you're at least having, freedom to liquidate your project tokens if you want.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a big concern, whether or not there's going to be like liquidity concerns for these native tokens. For that very reason, like you're saying, like there's going to be plenty of platforms to trade them.
Yeah. Right.
And we're seeing like, Acala itself. Yeah, let's go back to the platform. Acala is like the perfect example of that. Like these Polkadot project leads, I guess, like they're obviously recognizing like the most core essential like platform services on the Ethereum DeFi network, and they're just bringing that same utility to Polkadot, right?
Yep.
I mean, look at that, dude. I'm pretty sure any of y'all who are in the DeFi space recognize this interface. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the same thing with liquidity.
Yeah, like this is basically Uniswap, dude. Like that's the one thing that kind of turned me off about Acala. I mean, it's beautiful in the sense that they've packaged all of the core essential DeFi protocols into one. They even have their native stablecoin.
Yeah, AUSD.
Yeah, which is what Maker does to produce DAI. So they recognize they need their own stable currency to kind of underpin the whole DeFi ecosystem for Polkadot.
Yeah, and take a look at the different tokens that you can provide collateral so you can unlock AUSD. And so we got Acala, we have DOT, RenBTC, LDOT, and XBTC. And so they're pretty much covering the gambit of like the most popular style tokens here, especially the XBTC and RenBTC.
So this is probably going to operate a lot like how like Maker does, right? It's probably going to be up to DAO vote and governance who to onboard next, like which currency or collateral asset.
Yeah, I mean, we went through this with MakerDAO. I mean, they accept Mana now because of a DAO vote.
So that's cool. So they have a little governance tab right down there at the bottom too. Like everything's accounted for.
Yeah. And so of course we have a yield farming protocol as well. So this goes in addition to what you're saying is that they're covering the gamut of different protocols all in a single hub, and that's really ultimately the focus of Acala.
So yeah, like I was saying, I appreciate that. I see the value in that. It's just it seems almost like too expected, too predictable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, but at the same time, I think the intention of the Acala platform is for like other plugin protocols to be built on top of it. Use the Acala networks, liquidity aggregation through its already existing products to, I don't know, build something else on top of that. Maybe some derivatives type exchange.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So things we're seeing on Ethereum, I think that's Acala's goal, is to be like that baseline infrastructure for like the future DeFi products to be plugged into. You know what I mean? So whether or not you think there's value in that, I mean, it sounds pretty valuable to me.
Yeah. So do you think that these protocols here are built by Acala and these are not like protocols that are being aggregated by Acala?
Which one? All the ones you're looking at?
All the ones that we're looking at here, the swap, the borrow.
This is all Acala's making. So yeah, that's what like they're covering like the very baseline steps you need from stablecoin minting to collateral depositing and lending, and basically like all the core financial services, right, that you need. Now all like the crazy wacky stuff, like I think they're gonna rely on like the community of Polkadot developers to come up with that.
Because there's a lot of platforms or hub networks on Ethereum that pull together the different protocols, and they create like a single location to interact with all those different protocols instead of going to different sites. But that's not what we have here. This is their own flavor of those protocols, but done by Acala.
So I guess we know enough about Acala, at least like on like a surface level. So like, will this work? Will this succeed?
Yeah, that's where the speculation comes in, because it's the thing that we mention all the time is that all the liquidity and all the developers are on Ethereum, and what's going to bring developers and liquidity to Polkadot?
Yeah, and the users,
right?
You brought up a tweet earlier. Do you still have it from somebody who's speaking onto this topic about DeFi users not giving a fuck about Ethereum or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, basically, he was just saying he doesn't think Ethereum users or DeFi users really care like what blockchain they're built on.
Yeah.
All they care about is
it easy to use? Is it cheap? And is it secure?
yeah, is it fast? Things like that, right? I think it's a pretty decent assumption, but we just don't know because there hasn't really been like an alternative for DeFi up until now. Like right now, everything exists on Ethereum. So we're willing to put up with all this pain if it means we get access to these services. You know what I mean? I mean, we'll see, man. This is definitely like a wait and see moment, like whether or not people will gravitate towards Acala and other Polkadot projects. I guess all we could do at this point is like look at the protocol, look what's been built. Like, would you use it?
Oh yeah, I mean, this looks sexy to me, dude. I mean, like everything built here is something that I would expect from, the next evolution of finance. And so what's the thing to look out for? So here is this to secure a Parachain slot, the Acala network will require supportive dot holders to lock their dots to bid for a slot collectively, that a crowdfund IPO or initial Parachain offering will be conducted. ACA tokens will be distributed as rewards to dot owners who participate in the IPO successfully to compensate their opportunity costs to having their dots locked up for the first round of 24 months. So this is for the Acala network to be on Polkadot. And then we have here Karura, which is the exact same function as Acala, but on the Kusama network. So there's going to be two Parachain offerings.
Yeah, Karura will come first, and then I'm not sure how shortly after, maybe like a few months later, I'm imagining Acala will come next.
Yeah, and so looking into Polkadot, they're gonna do a Parachain offering, one Parachain at a time. It's not going to be like this this free for all for a Parachain offering when this goes down. So there's going to be a little bit of order here.
Yeah, but regardless, like if you appreciate DeFi, so like just to sum it up, sentiment here, if you believe in DeFi, especially after what we just showed you with this like Federal Reserve article, like governments are now recognizing DeFi as a legitimate like sector to be concerned about. If you believe in that and you subscribe to that, and you also believe in the Polkadot network as being a potential like coexistent, protocol layer in this crypto space, then Acala is almost like a no-brainer.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Especially if it serves as like the DeFi hub for the whole Polkadot network. And it has so much backing from Web3, from Gavin himself. Literally like the Web3, like, Dan Reeser, like, just join the Acala team.
That's right. That's right.
This is definitely a juggernaut, dude. I think we're going to title this. This is the Polkadot juggernaut right here. We're looking at it straight in the face. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, that's the video for today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io. Let us know what you think about Acala. Are you guys waiting for the Parachain offerings? And let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right. Peace out.